Hi guys, good morning all of you. Hope all of you can hear me. Anyone guys, can you please confirm? Is I'm audible guys?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Alright guys, right. So guys, I have taken two introduction classes, just a very small introductions guys. Because Linux, we all of you know about Linux, so I don't require much the introduction regarding the Linux operating system. But I have just given some idea like why we have to learn Linux. So who generally requires the Linux learning, the concepts of Linux is required. And apart from that, what exactly we are going to learn in the Linux also. So what basically we have to learn. So in the last class, I've given a small introduction about that. So I think all of you have attended the last couple of classes. All of you have guys, all of you have attended the last classes.
No, sir.
Anybody? No. Okay. Is
First class, sir.
today's your first class? Okay, no worries. Just I've taken only two introduction classes. I've taken just a 45 minutes I've taken. No need to worry about that. Just a small introduction. Like why do we require? Just a second, guys. Okay. So why do you require why we have to learn the Linux or which is the Unix what we are talking about? So we all of you know that Unix and Linux is going to be nothing but Unix or Linux is nothing but it is one of your operating system. Just like how I'm using the Windows, so which is going to be Unix and Linux is also going to be one of the operating system, just like your Windows operating system, guys. Then why we have to learn? So when you are learning Windows, why we have to learn the Unix or Linux operating system? Already we are learning, already you know how to use Windows. So why should I learn? As I told you, as of now, the latest, whatever the technologies which are going to be in huge demand, whatever we are using, like data science, data engineering, cloud computing, DevOps engineering. Okay, all these particular, whatever the softwares or frameworks we are using, most of them are going to be best suitable for Linux operating systems. Like for example, guys, the big data systems are there. So coming to the big data, for example, whenever we are talking about a big data, like we have something called as an Hadoop, we are going to be using something like a Spark, etc. Guys, all these applications, basically these softwares or these frameworks, are going to be best suitable for which is going to be for Linux environment. What is the reason? Also, I told you guys, these Hadoop and Spark and all these things, they are open sources, guys. They are open sources. What is an open source? I think I have just given some introduction regarding them. It is going to be free to use. They will directly give you the source code to us. Okay, if I talk about Microsoft Windows is there. Microsoft Windows is not an open source, guys. It is not an open source. You have to buy. You have to buy the license. And even you cannot share your operating system with somebody. Earlier it was there like that, guys. We used to get a key. That key I can install it on multiple systems. But nowadays we cannot share your operating system. You cannot share your Windows copy with other machines. Even some softwares, like for example, if you talk about antivirus, your antivirus software like Kaspersky, etc. They says that it is going to be only one user license only. One user license means only it is going to be only one system only it is going to works. Once if you install the antivirus software, your antivirus software on one system, it only accepts only one system installation only. If I try to use the same software, same key on other system, immediately this will on the other system, it is going to be disabled. So it won't allow, it only allows only one user. It is only single user applications only it is going to be there. So open sources are not like that, guys. Open sources are not like that. You are going to get it at a free of cost. Anybody can get that particular open source code, whatever the open source code is there. Even if you want, you can make some modification to this particular code. If you want, I can make some modifications. I can modify the code and I can release it as my own product. I can release it as my own product. I can take the Hadoop framework and I can modify it and I can release it as my own product only, though I didn't develop it from the scratch. So that is what the open source stands for. Open source is nothing but free to use and free to distribute. You can distribute it, guys. To anybody, you can share it with that. Anybody you can share it at free of cost. Okay, even if you want, you can sell it also. You can sell it. You can earn the income. But that community, that particular Hadoop community is not going to get any income from that. So Open sources are nothing but where directly the source code will be recommended. So Unix or Linux is one of such kind of an open source operating system, guys. That is the main difference between Windows and which is going to be the Unix or a Linux system. So whenever you don't want to, for example, let us say that you want to develop some kind of an application and you want to make use of that application for everyone. Everyone want that particular software to be used. So you have to prefer to use better to use an open source operating systems, because anybody can utilize that. Even if the person is not having any Windows operating system also, they can install some other softwares and they can install it actually. And there are very lightweighted, guys. There are very lightweighted operating systems. So lightweighted means the system is not going to take much resources also. For example, now, as of now, if they want to install Windows, they says that minimum this much RAM must be there, minimum this much storage must be there here. But for installation of Linux and Unix, guys, you don't require much software, and other much hardwares are not going to be required. Even with a very small storage also we can install. Within some around 20 GB space is there, you can install the Linux operating system. Even if you have a 1 GB RAM also, Windows recommends to have a 4 GB. Linux I can install even with a 1 GB RAM also, I can install it, guys. A very lightweighted. So sometimes what we do is, whenever we are working with a lightweight configuration operating the systems or configurations, we better to use the, instead of using Microsoft Windows, better to use the Unix or Linux operating systems. So some of the features, if you talk about them, it's an open source and it is going to be very lightweighted operating system. So why we have to learn? That is the reason why we have discussed about that. Why we have to learn means, nowadays most of your applications, so guys who are working on Hadoop, they have to know something about the some concepts of Unix and Linux operating systems. So who are working in Python, so in real applications mostly the Python works on the Python is going to be better, works on the, not better, it is preferably to work on the Linux operating systems rather than working with the Windows operating system. So if you learn Python is not sufficient now. If you want to use Python in your, if you want to use the Python in Linux environment, you should be knowing about little bit about the Linux environment is required. You need not to be an expertise, but at least if you have some, see, everybody who learns about, for example, who is working on Hadoop may not be expertise in the Linux and Unix operating system, but they should know about a little bit idea. But if you have a more and more knowledge about that, you can make your work more and more comfortable, more and more easy. We can make your work. That is the reason why people prefer to learn this particular Linux or the Unix operating systems. So Unix or Linux is a simple operating system, a very lightweighted operating system, which is going to be open source. You can use it at a free of cost, and we can also distribute it to anybody else wherever you want to, whomever you want, we can distribute it. Who has to learn the Linux environments, guys? Who are working on big data systems, data science people. I was basically my main expertise is on the data science. I deliver the trainings on data science related technologies. My main concepts, the previous classes at 5:30 a.m., 6:30 a.m., 7, 8 o'clock, all these are going to be data. It's going to be completely related to data science course only. I've even shown you yesterday also. So this is going to be my role. So basically in our data science, obviously we have to use the Unix operating systems. So I also have a little bit more expertise. It's not only small expertise, I also have a working applications, file and folder related operations. I can do it, guys. So that is the reason why I was able to deliver these particular trainings. Just a second. Yeah. Right, guys. So that is what exactly we have discussed in the last couple of classes. And even I told you like what are the topics we are going to learn. So basically file and folder related operations. Very simple, guys. Just like in Windows, what you do, the same thing. Creating of files, deleting of files, moving of files, copying of files, okay, renaming of the files, directories, how to move from one directory to another directory. But everything we mostly prefer to work with the command line, guys, not with the GUI based. Not with the GUI based. No mouse usage will be there, guys. We don't use the mouse at all. We don't use the mouse at all. It's completely, we are going to work only with the help of our keyboard. Only keyboard is going to be used. In Windows, if I ask you to perform some operations by using keyboard, maximum it is impossible case, guys. Why? Because we are not that much familiar with the Windows commands. We know the basic commands, maybe something we can go to the command prompt. You can work with that, guys. I can also work with them. In Windows also, we can work with them. It is going to be if you open the command prompt. This is going to be, I open the command prompt, guys. So this is going to be very clearly, it is going to be Microsoft Windows, which is going to be the version 10.0. You can see the version. So Microsoft Corporation, all rights are going to be reserved. Currently, I was in Vamsi Krishna directory. So I want to go to, which is going to be one directory backward. In the C drive. I want to check the directories. CD, which is going to be, I have a folder called as a data folder. It is going to be directory. These are all my files that are available in my particular directory called as a data. I want to delete a file. So normally you can delete the file. But normally in Windows, how do you delete the file? Just directly what we do is select the file. From the keyboard, you simply click on the, which is going to be delete button. From keyboard, you are going to do the delete button because we are able to select it. But how to do it by using command based? How to do it by using command mode? Okay, without using the mouse. By using the mouse, you are doing that. Otherwise, right click on the key, right click on the file, and you will simply click on the delete. But here we can't delete like that, right? It's a command prompt. Completely, it is going to be a command line interface. No GUI, no drag and drop, no mouse. Everything we have to do it by using command. So we are just learning some commands, guys. To learn, we are going to be what you are going to learn in the Linux or Unix operating the classes, guys. We don't develop any write a program like Java, or we don't write any programs like which is going to be for Java program, C program, C++. We don't write, guys. So what we are going to learn is, guys, we are going to learn the various commands which are used to work with your computer. A commands which are going to be helps to work with your computer or work in a computer. Like whatever the commands you can learn, like simple, it is going to be all the file and folder related commands, or it is going to be almost all the types of commands like related to search and find. So how do you search, or how do you do that? Normally in Windows, what you will do, guys, whenever you want to search anything, there is a search option is there. We are going to search for the required option. But in Linux, how do you do it, guys? Everything by using a command based only, we are going to do that. So file and folder related operations, searching or the finding other applications, everything, guys, it is completely user management. User management means like which is going to be access to the folders, access to the files, which access we can give, which access we cannot give. So all the user management will do. Even some kind of a networking kind of an applications. So how to send a message from one machine to another machine. So networking related applications. So many things are there, guys. And even we want to perform some kind of an shell scripts we are going to run it, guys. So these are all the commands which are going to be the required, whatever the requirement is there. So these are all the related required, etc., guys. So many are there here now. So we'll try to learn some commands which are used to work with files and folders, search and the find related commands, user management commands, networking related, some shell scripting related commands. All these things we are going to learn in our course curriculum, guys. Okay, so that is what we have discussed in the last couple of classes we discussed. If anybody has missed yesterday's classes, guys, so these are the topics which I have discussed in the last two classes. That's it. Apart from that, nothing I have been got done, guys. Okay, fine. So let us start with the main course curriculum. And just a small intimation, guys, just for a couple of days, maybe not all the days, a couple of days. Today is Wednesday, right? So Wednesday, Thursday, only 2 days, guys. I have some other work. I have some other training had to be delivered at 10 o'clock. So for this only 2 days, guys, that is today and tomorrow only 2 days, you will be having the session only up to 10 o'clock only. I'll just take a 10 minutes class. We'll end up for today, only for today and tomorrow, because I'm currently delivering some trainings in a company called a CGI. It came to end. So we have some other mock interviews and all these things has been got scheduled. So I have to join them. It was not there in our plan. So basically it was scheduled only for 2 days. 18th and 19th, I was scheduled with some other extra work. So I have to join at 10 o'clock. So just for today, I'll just take another 10 minutes of discussion today and tomorrow, and we'll end up the session for today. And then from Friday onwards, we'll be having up to 10:30 is the class timing. Okay, fine, guys. So just a minute, let us go. Yeah. So let us start with our basic introduction classes, guys. The basic introduction means let us start with the main course curriculum we are going to start with. So as you all of you know that what are going to be what are going to be, you know that a computer is made up of what? So what is basically the components of what we are talking about a computer? So basically we all of you know that the computer contains mainly, which is going to be two main important components. So whenever you want to use a computer, whenever we want to use a computer, so what are the main important things we have to require, guys? So how to use a computer? So whenever we want to use a computer, computer is made up of two different components, guys. One is, we all of you know that it is going to be an hardware. Okay, I don't want to discuss more and more about that, guys. These are all the basic concepts only, but just I want to make a little bit clear about that. So we know that what are going to be the hardware, guys. The hardware is going to be nothing but what we can say the physical components in your computer. So physical components in our computer, guys. In the computer, what are the physical components are there? It can be internal or it can be external components also, guys. Like internal components, we know that like your RAM is an internal component. Your hard disk, which is going to be your hard disk is going to be an internal component. Your CPU is going to be an internal component. So what about the external components, guys? External components is going to be nothing but your mouse, or which is going to be your keyboard. Without that, you cannot work with them, guys. If you don't have a mouse, if you have a mouse and a keyboard, you cannot work with them. If you don't have a monitor, we cannot connect with them, etc., etc. Because these are the primary components, guys. These are the primary components. Apart from that, I'm using my headphones. So without having the headphones also, I can work with the computer. But that device, the whatever the sound is going to be there, that will be redirected. So I'm using, so if you observe carefully, I'm writing on the notebook. I'm writing here, guys. So I'm using a pen tablet. I'm using a pen tablet, guys. So it was manufactured by a company called as an Wacom. So a Wacom pen tablet, I'm going to be using this. So to write it. So see, guys, it's how convenient it is going to be. Writing is very convenient. So generally you may have seen, you have seen about that. Whenever, if anybody is taking the class, they will type it on a notepad. So then they will write it in a notepad, they will type it. So a lot of disturbance will come from the keyboard. Plus apart from that, they cannot write this kind of an easily. I can write it very easily, guys. So if I kept a square bracket, I want to draw a rectangle. In a notepad, if you want to draw a rectangle, they will struggle a lot. But here, by using just a free hand, I can write it, guys, easily. That's the reason I just use as a pen tablet. From last almost all from 10 years, I'm using the pen tablet itself. So it's from last 10 years, I'm using it, guys. So technology wise, I'll try to utilize as much possibility it is going to be. I have a lot of external devices are there. So anyhow, hardware is nothing but the main physical components in your computer, which are internal components, and some of them are going to be external components. So without having a keyboard, you cannot work with them. If you don't have a keyboard, you cannot work with them. Isn't it? So once I log in, once I open my computer, I have to enter my password. Keyboard is required, mouse is required, monitors are required, RAM, CPU, the hard disk, all these are going to be the internal components about that. Next one. The second one is going to be nothing but, so whenever you want to use a computer, two components are required, guys. One is your hardware and one is going to be nothing but, you know that it is going to be a software, guys. We know what is a software. Everywhere, whenever you learn a language, first discussion is what is a software. A software is nothing but a collection of programs which is used to perform some kind of a task. So every computer requires two things, guys. One is an hardware and one is going to be nothing but a software is going to be required, guys. So what is a software? Softwares are going to be nothing but the programs which we are going to be. Software is nothing but a program, guys, a collection of programs. You can say that the programs which are going to be, just a minute, yeah. It's going to be the programs which are going to be running in a computer. Better to say that a collection of programs which are running in a computer, guys. Collection of programs running in your computer. So our computers will have so many softwares, guys, running in a computer. There are so many softwares in your computer, guys, isn't it? So for example, if you use this is going to be Microsoft OneNote. That is going to be one software I'm using. So many softwares are there. So many software, so many components are there which I'm going to be using in my computers, isn't it? So mainly, whenever we want to use a computer, mainly two things are required. Only hardware, we cannot utilize it, guys. Only software, it does not work. Without having a hardware, we cannot have a software, guys. Because whenever I want to install some software, the software need to be installed that should be stored into that one hard disk only. And whenever you want to run a software, obviously I have to require some RAM memory is going to be required. Whenever we want to process some application or when we want to process some task, I have to require some kind of a CPU. Whenever I want to use some input and output operations, I require some kind of a keyboard. Whenever I want to display them, you have to require a monitor. Without them, you cannot work with them, guys. Okay. So your computer is made up of two components. One is going to be hardware and second one is going to be the software, guys. What is a software? A software is nothing but a collection of programs which are going to be running in a computer. Now, these softwares can be mainly categorized into two types, guys. Mainly, there are categorized into two types, guys. What are those? One is going to be nothing but a system software, and the other one is going to be nothing but we are going to call it as an application software. So two types of software. What is a software? I told you. A software is nothing but some collection of programs running in a computer. This can be further categorized into two types, guys. One is a system software and one is an application software. What is a system software, guys? System software is basically the programs, both of them are set of programs only, guys. A set of programs which are basically used to run the hardware. It is basically used to run the hardware, guys. So we know that, for example, if I was able to see something on my screen, if my monitor is running, there is some software is going to be required, guys. Some program is required. If I was able to, if I'm using this pen tablet, I'm using the pen tablet, guys. I'm writing something using the pen tablet on the screen. If I was able to write means there is some program is running internally, guys. Some software is running internally, isn't it? So to run every device, if my mouse is running, I require some software. My keyboard is running, I require some software. And whenever I'm working with, which is going to be my mouse, my mic, it is going to be some kind of a software is going to be required, guys, isn't it? So for every hardware component to run, I require some kind of an software is going to be required, guys. That software is nothing but what we are going to call it as that is what we are going to call it as our, which is going to be an system software, guys. That is what we are going to call it as a system software. I think all of you have a little bit idea about this one, guys. So let us go to the, which is going to be device manager. Go to the device manager, guys. Where is my device manager? This is going to be my device manager. See, guys, for every hardware component you can see here now. Every hardware component you can see here now. To run every hardware component, I require some kind of a program, some software is required. For example, let us say that my display adapters. I'm using something called as an Intel R, which is going to be UHD graphics I'm working. And let us say that this is going to be some computer, my computer. You can see there, all of them, monitors. I have some monitor is there. I'm using something called as a generic monitor. I'm using an external monitor, guys. It is going to be my integrated monitor. I'm connected my laptop to my external device. So right click on that, see the properties. See the properties, guys. There is going to be some kind of a program which is going to be running. That program is nothing but what we call it as a driver. If I disable this driver, guys, my monitor does not work. If I install the device, it is not going to work. So with the help of some kind of a program only, this is going to be gets running. So every hardware component, I'm using an input. I'm using an I'm using an Logitech headphones. I'm using. So which is going to be H370 headphones. I'm going to be using this. This one I'm going to be using this. How it is working? Right click, click on properties. There is some driver is going to be there. So who provided this driver? Microsoft. So what you can observe carefully, guys, all these are nothing but some programs which are going to be provided. Every software you take in, guys. For example, if I take any keyboard, I'm using a Logitech keyboard I'm going to be using, guys. I'm using an which is going to be keyboard, guys. I'm using two types of keyboards I'm going to be using. One is external keyboard and one is going to be the internal keyboard provided by the laptop itself. So I'm going to be using some other keyboard I'm going to be providing. So what are the properties? So these are going to be the keyboard, which is going to be the drivers who has provided. Same as it is, which is going to be some other property, which is going to be see the properties. You can see the driver, Microsoft. Who is providing the device drivers, guys? The device driver was given by this one. So everything, even if we use the mouse, so what kind of mouse component we are going to be using? So every component I'm using with my computer is a hardware component. So we'll check it out. Where is the mouses are there? Mouse, where is my mouse is there? Processors I'm going to be there. These are input output devices, what we can see. These are audio processing, it is going to be. Where we can see security, software devices, sounding and video gaming controls. You can see that. So I'm using a Logitech, which is going to be USB headphones I'm going to be using. See the properties. So who is the driver? Driver is provided by the Microsoft. So every component, guys, every application you can see, there are some printers are connected. So everything is going to be just connected and everything is going to be working with the help of this particular, with the particular drivers only, guys. Okay. So without having these drivers, as you know that we cannot work with them, right? We cannot work without having the drivers. So drivers are part of your operating system. How the drivers are coming? It is going to be coming along with your operating system only. It is going to come, guys. So what is your system software? A system software is going to be nothing but a set of programs. Already I told you what is a programs. Which is going to be nothing but system softwares are nothing but the programs which are used to access or which are used to run your hardware. Which are used to run the hardware, guys. Use it to run your hardware. Whatever the hardware you want to run, you have to require this kind of a system software. Your hardware components, you can say that. Examples what, guys? Example is going to be nothing but your device drivers. But how these device drivers are going to come, guys? Most of the device drivers are going to come along with your operating system. So device drivers and operating system. So whenever you want to run any of your hardware component, we require some operating system. And your device drivers are part of your operating system only, guys. They're all part of your operating system. Along with your operating system only, most of the device drivers will come. But that's why whenever we install, that means whenever we add extra devices, automatically what happens, guys? Extra devices, extra drivers are going to be automatically, they will be installed along with your operating system. Just give me a second, guys. Just give me a second. I'll be back. Yeah, guys. So just let us complete off it, guys. I just got a call from the people. Yeah, it's going to be device drivers, which are going to be part of your operating system, guys. So along with your operating system only, all these device drivers are going to be it is going to be part of them. So without having this operating system, what is an operating system? Operating system is also one of the system software only, guys, which is basically used to run your hardware itself. Okay. So along with that only, there are going to be some device drivers also will be there. I'll tell you what is exactly an operating system. So it is going to contain some set of libraries which are going to be used to work with your application softwares. Okay, fine. Anyhow, this is going to be what we call it as system softwares and application softwares, guys. Application softwares are nothing but the softwares which are going to be running your system. So it can be some kind of a business applications or it can be any kind of an application, guys. You know that what are application softwares? So which are used to run your business. So the applications which are going to be run your business or which is going to be perform some kind of a task, etc., etc. There are going to be what we call it as application softwares. Examples, we all of you know that the popular apps which we are going to be using, guys, which is going to be WhatsApp or which is going to be your Google Pay. So many apps we are going to be using it now, guys. In our system also we'll use this. Okay, there are mobile applications, but anything is going to be a kind of an application software, guys. So WhatsApp, which is going to be Google Pay. So whatever we are using, all these are going to be some softwares only, guys. Let us say that it is going to be Notepad, okay, or which is going to be Notepad, WordPads, Everything is going to be software only, guys. Okay, so these are going to be a different, which is going to be the application softwares which are going to be running. Some of them are used to run our business, or some of them are used to perform some task like calculator. What is calculator? Calculator is going to be nothing but a software which is basically used to perform some particular calculations. So this is going to be what we call it as the application softwares, and which is going to be some system softwares. But whether you want to write a system software, whether you want to write an application software, we require some language is going to be required, guys. We require some kind of a language is going to be required. Some language, it may be some language is required, guys. Whether you want to write a device driver also, device driver is also one kind of a program only, guys. Your operating system is also nothing but a set of programs only. Your applications are also going to be some kind of set of programs what internally they will be writing. So to write it, we require some kind of a languages like C, C++, Java, .NET. Okay, many things are, guys. We require some other software. So many softwares are going to be languages are required. So C++, Java, .NET, PHP, etc. We have to require it, guys. Okay, so mostly I'll tell you like operating systems are having a very limited usages only, whereas application softwares we are having more and more. How many operating systems are there, guys? Very few. Coming to application softwares, we have thousands of application softwares what we have it, guys. Okay, so that's it for the today's class, guys. Already they called me, guys. It's already 10 minutes late. Okay, so just for today and tomorrow, guys, we'll just have a half an hour 30 minutes class. We'll take it up to 9:30 to 10:30. 10 o'clock I'll take it, guys. From Friday onwards, we'll be having up to 10:30. We'll be having the session, guys. Okay, so sorry, yes, for that these 2 days, just you have to just follow this just for 30 minutes of time for today and tomorrow. From Friday onwards, I'll take it completely 1 hour
Sir,
class. Yeah, yes, yeah.
So, sir, Unix and Linux, what is the difference and
I'll
similarity?
tell you the differences. So it is actually Unix is a parent for the Linux. From Unix only Linux was derived.
Unix is a programming language.
Unix is an
programming language.
No, that is also an operating system.
Okay.
That is also operating system.
Based on Unix.
Linux was derived from Unix.
Okay.
It is a parent. It is an open source, right?
To learn Unix or Linux, we have to install the operating system on our computer.
You have to require it. That's for also you without having any installation. That means installation is required, but how to install it, I'll tell you. The procedure I'll tell you. Okay. Fine.
And sir, what is the relation in Python with Unix and Linux?
Python, Unix, and Linux, the nothing difference is that Python is a programming language. Just like how you are working with Windows, the same thing you are also going to work with. It's an operating system. In Linux, you are going to work with the Python. So if you want to work with Python in Linux, you should be knowing a little bit concepts of Linux operating system.
Okay.
So how to write a Python program? For example, I will write in Windows, it is a notepad. In Linux, where do you write a Python program? We have to open in a VA editor. So how to open the VA editor, how to save the file, and how to copy the files. That it's a little bit different from Windows operating system. The Python commands won't change, but you should know how to work with the Python files in the Linux operating system. That is the reason why you should know about a little bit knowledge about the Linux operating systems.
Sir, what is the scope of this course, sir? What are all covered in this course?
I already shared this. Is already there in the online. You can see the online. You can go to the course curriculum that is there. You can just go there, and once you have it, check it out. But all the concepts which are going to be what a Linux user is going to be required, everything is going to be covered with a little bit of administration.
Okay.
Okay. Fine. Yeah. Yes. Thank you, guys. Sir, sorry for today. Just I'm ending up a little bit early for today and tomorrow. So because the guys are waiting there. So I have to deliver the training for them. So 2 days it left over. I'll cover up them. And from Friday onwards, we'll have a regular class, guys. Okay. So thank you for today. I'll see you tomorrow at the same time, guys. Thanks all of you guys.